I sat on the chair in front of his desk. He has seen me before from my earlier visits, but I don't think he recognizes me. A small portrait of Gandhi hung above the window behind the police officer. On the wall to his right were a map of Himachal Pradesh, hanging on a rusty nail and a 2-year-old calendar. Perhaps it was kept for the image on it. I always make it a point to be very polite. Things often worked in my favor when I spoke with lots of sirs with government officials and policemen. I know they like to be assertive, as if to reinforce their positions.
तेरा कोई बैकग्राउंड है? जल्दी कर, अपने पास टाइम नहीं है। नाम बोल।
सर आप क्या बोल रहे हैं? मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा।
नाम बता।
चिंगमी सर, तेंजिन चिंगमी।
लिखो। TENZINGJI।
जी नहीं सर, जी नहीं है।
क्या? तेरा नाम तेंजिन नहीं है?
वो स्पेलिंग में जी नहीं है। TENZIN।
एक गिलास पानी ला। बता तुझे क्यों बुलाया यहाँ?
सर मैं तो सोच रहा था ऐसी इंक्वायरी के बारे में बोला। 1 साल पहले अप्लाई किया था सर, लेकिन अभी तक इंक्वायरी नहीं आया। When I called the regional passport office, a lady on the phone directed me to go to the police station, since a clearance from the police was needed for the identity certificate. This is a small yellow booklet given to refugees like me as a travel document. It's a very complex procedure to get one. If everything goes well, the yellow book would come out in a year's time. I knew about police beatings, but the inspector did not look like the kind who would use his belt to whip me. He spoke loudly, but not in a threatening way. His mustache was disciplined towards his mouth. He looked more like a seasoned professor, if not for his khaki uniform. I was scared, nevertheless.
पता है, तेरा फाइल इधर पड़ा है।
सर मैं तो एक कॉलेज स्टूडेंट हूँ, सोचा कोई स्कॉलरशिप मिले तो यूएस चला जाऊँ पढ़ने।
और अपने कॉलेज के दोस्तों के बारे में बताओ।
कॉलेज दोस्त तेंजिन थारकिल, साहुमो, सोनम सिंह, अबुल खेर, रवि वर्मा।
हाँ, उसके बारे में।
रवि वर्मा
नहीं, उसके पहले।
अबुल खेर।
हाँ, उसको कैसे जानता है?
दोस्त था वो, मेरा क्लासमेट था।
उसके बारे में क्या जानता है?
सर वो क्लासमेट था मेरा।
कहाँ से है वो?
कश्मीर से था, बस इतना ही पता सर। This was a lie. Abul KHAYR. His name means the noble one. He was incredibly intelligent and strikingly good-looking. Like me, he loved poetry, and Neruda was his favorite. He was born in a small village located near India's border with Pakistan. His father was the village head. After his elder brother joined Kashmiri separatist movement, KHAYR's father sent him to a school in Himachal Pradesh and later to St. Xavier's College. That's where I met him.
ये गिल्ली डंडा खेल के तुम्हें कुछ मिलने वाला है? तुम्हारे देश का ये क्रिकेट है ना, दुनिया में सिर्फ 6-7 कंट्रीज ही खेलते हैं। पूरा दिन ग्राउंड में खड़ा रहना चुतियापंती है यार।
When we were in second year of college, his brother was killed in a police encounter. KHAYR thought it was a fake encounter. He wanted to go home for the funeral, but his father said no. Though KHAYR never really talked about his brother, his death had a deep impact on KHAYR. I told him about my brother's death in Tibet, and we felt each other's loss like two hands in gloves. The sports-loving KHAYR became less visible on the fields. He went deep into reading. He kept his diary close to him and copied things he liked from books. I never thought twice about these. That summer, we planned to go to his home in the hills for our holidays. However, I had to take a group of tourists for trekking in Ladakh and Zanskar to earn some pocket money for myself. KHAYR went to his village alone. Before he left for Kashmir, we were sitting near the college gate. He took out his diary and recited an Urdu poem by Faiz, from which one line got printed in my mind. The dust of old chapters have opened.
तू जवान है, तेरा भविष्य अच्छा है, लेकिन तू थोड़ा हमें अबुल खैर के बारे में बताओ। वो करता क्या है?
सर, we were good friends, sir. अच्छे दोस्त हैं हम, लेकिन उसके साथ बहुत टाइम से कांटेक्ट में नहीं रहा।
This was partly true. After our graduation, he went home and I lived in Delhi. During one of our conversations on the phone, he complained that his village had only a single phone that often went dead, and the electricity came only for a few hours a day. He sounded very frustrated.
तुझे पता है उसका भाई आतंकवादी है?
सर, पता नहीं सर, इतना पता है कि वो उसका भाई एनकाउंटर में मारा गया था, लेकिन आतंकवादी पता नहीं सर।
मुझे ये बता, आखिरी बार उससे कब मिला था?
आखिरी बार कॉलेज में सर, मई में।
This was a lie. I met KHAYR in Nepal when I was taking a group of tourists for a month-long trek in September. We had dinner at a restaurant and sat well into the night. Our conversation revolved around our days in college, but we did not talk much about the future. KHAYR said he was on a business trip with one of his brother's friends. He left the conversation there and switched to Neruda. When the night grew old and the world sank into a deep slumber, we cleared our throats and recited Neruda. KHAYR's favorite was Tonight I Can Write. I began to recite and he followed along.
To hear the immense night, still more immense without her. And the verse falls to the soul like dew to the pasture. What does it matter that my love couldn't keep her? The night is shattered and
she's not with me.
This is all. In the distance, someone is singing. My soul is not satisfied.
It has lost her, as though to go to her, and
she's not with me.
The same night whitening the same trees. We of that time
are
no longer the same.
The inspector almost shouted. A lot of things were going on in my head. I must stick to one line and not say too many things, I told myself. What else did they know? Did they know that I went to Nepal? Did they really know that I met KHAYR there? I never imagined that the event could touch my life.
अभी वो कहाँ है?
अभी तो पता नहीं सर।
लेकिन हमारे पास तो कुछ और इन्फॉर्मेशन है। 99 के सितंबर में तू नेपाल गया था।
नहीं सर।
ओए बच्चे, जरा ध्यान से सोच तू। तेरा ये जो दोस्त है ना, ये सस्पेक्टेड आतंकवादी है। ये IC-814 के हाईजैकिंग के मामले में शामिल हो सकता है। ISI एजेंट हो सकता है ये।
सर मैं नेपाल गया तो था, लेकिन एक अमेरिकन ग्रुप के साथ गया था सर, ट्रैकिंग गाइड बन के। सारा टाइम उन्हीं के साथ था सर। आप उनसे पूछ सकते हो, लेकिन अबुल से नहीं मिला।
फिर हमें ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है कि तू अबुल से नेपाल में मिला था और तुझे ये भी पता है कि वो इस वक्त है कहाँ?
सर मुझे सच में नहीं पता वो कहाँ पे है इस वक्त। सही में सर नहीं पता।
विकास भाई, ये नाम तेरे को कुछ सुना सुना लग रहा है?
If Vikas Bhai opened his mouth in front of the police, my life would be reduced to a dot in prison. Vikas Bhai was a student leader and had good connections. Everybody knew him and his loyal Turkish friends. I had to go to Vikas Bhai for various problems, but he did nothing for free.
भाई इस सेमेस्टर में मेरा बहुत कम अटेंडेंस है। आप थोड़ा जुगाड़ कर देते तो।
मेरे लिए क्या करेगा तू? माल लाएगा मेरे लिए?
ज़्यादा मत बोलना भाई, पता है ना कितना चेकिंग होता है।
5 तोला।
After my trek, I bought a few tolas of hashish and made sure the delivery was foolproof.
सर मैं मिला था सर, अब उससे नेपाल में मिला था।
अच्छा, और बता।
सर हमने डिनर किया था साथ में, फिर थोड़ी सी बातचीत भी की।
किस चीज के बारे में बात कर?
ऐसे ही सर अपने कॉलेज के बारे में, कॉलेज के दिनों के बारे में, और अपने दोस्तों के बारे में, और कविताएं सर।
कविताएं?
जी सर।
उसके बाद फिर मिला?
सर उसके बाद हाँ जी, एक 15 दिन पहले सर।
कहाँ?
एक रेलवे स्टेशन पर सर।
कौन सा रेलवे स्टेशन?
जोगिंदर नगर के पास। रेलवे स्टेशन का नाम नहीं पता सर।
वो कहाँ जा रहा था?
सर वो तो पता नहीं सर, मैंने पूछा भी नहीं सर।
This was true. KHAYR did not tell me where he was going. KHAYR looked different. I sensed that this was going to be our last meeting, but we didn't speak much. We sat on the hard wooden bench. The railway station was filled with noises and activities. I cracked some odd jokes and we laughed. An old man stared at us, and a guy at the tea stall went on making tea. After a little while, he opened his bag, took out his diary and gave it to me. KHAYR seemed uncomfortable sitting on the bench, so we walked to the platform where his train was to arrive. I gave him a Rangzan band which signifies freedom. We stood there awkwardly, waiting for his train. When the train slowly moved from the station, he said, "फिर कभी."
हाँ जी सर। जोगिंदर नगर के पास एक रेलवे स्टेशन पर देखा है जी। जी सर, हाँ, ये लड़का तो यही बोल रहा है। ओके।
Well, IC-814 was hijacked while on its way from Kathmandu to Delhi. The plane that was finally forced to land in Kandahar was carrying 11 crew members and 179 passengers.
The whole nation was in shock when 5 masked terrorists hijacked Indian Airlines flight IC-8 in what is known as the Kandahar episode. The Indian government had to release 3 dreaded terrorists for the safe release of the remaining 179 passengers and crew.
Indian Airlines plane IC-814 with 180 crew and passengers returning from holiday in Nepal is hijacked from Kathmandu. The plane is taken by 5 hijackers to Amritsar, then Lahore, Dubai and finally to Kandahar. The hijackers' final demand, the release of 3 dreaded terrorists arrested for kidnapping Rubaiya Saeed, the daughter of India's former Home Minister Mufti Muhammad Saeed. Their final demand, release of 3 militants, Maulana Masood Azhar, Ahmad Omar Saeed Sheikh and Masood Ahmad Zargar, lodged in Indian jail. The commander diverted the aircraft to Lahore, but was declined.
About a week later, the inquiry for my travel document finally arrived. A few months later, I received my identity certificate. I opened the brown envelope with great excitement. But this may envelop me like a dark shadow. All the energy in my body ebbed out of me. I felt empty.